We'll take about 5 deep belly breaths here on our back to begin our class. If your arms are stretched out wide to the sides, then maybe take them palms facing down on the belly so you can get a sense of that deep belly breath in through the nose, out through the nose. So start to feel your ujjayi breath here. Sensation of breath at the back of the throat, the audible inhale, audible exhale. About 3 more rounds of that breath. So now we'll bend the knees and plant the feet about hip-width distance apart. Take the arms out to the sides. You can spread the arms out into a capital T shape, or you can make a cactus shape with your arms so your elbows are wide. And we're going to do a lot of twisting throughout our practice, so we'll take a look at this twist, the supine twist first. Move your hips off to the right, so just kind of lift your hips up, move them off to the right, and take your knees off to the left. And notice how that feels. Again, the spine is often more stiff in the morning. The whole skeletal system, the whole body really is often more stiff. So this doesn't need to be your biggest twist. You can take it in any way you like. You can extend your legs out, maybe bind your hand to your foot, or you could keep both knees bent. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. In through the nose, out through the nose. Twice more. And come back through center. Plant your feet, adjust your hips so that they're in line with your shoulders. Just take a moment here, breathe in through the nose, breathe out. Press down through your feet, lift your hips up, and then shift them off to the left a few inches as you take your knees off to the right. Just pause there, let your shoulders relax. We have one more person in the waiting room. Hey, Elizabeth. Sorry we got started. So we're in a supine twist on our back. We're on our second side, so feel free to take your time on that first side. Right now, we're just resting with the knees off to the right. That left hip is stacking on top. So Elizabeth, for you, once you're done with that first side, you'll take your second side, and then everyone else, let's hug our knees into our chest. Rock a little bit right to left. Keep relaxing your shoulders. Notice your neck here when you wrap your arms around the tops of the shins. Does the chin jut up towards the ceiling? Really try to neutralize the neck. So keep the chin at least in line with the forehead, maybe slightly below. And then Elizabeth, you can join us here when you're ready, hugging your knees into your chest, Apanasana. We'll release that. We'll plant the feet. We'll come into a few dynamic rounds of bridge. So feet, start to walk closer to the glutes. You can reach down with your hands. You might tickle the backs of your heels. Feet are parallel. Press down through your feet as you inhale, lift the hips up. Keep inhaling, stretch the arms up towards the ceiling, reach the arms overhead. Biceps are now framing the ears. Your hips are still lifted. Take a big breath in here, lift onto the heels, so you're rising onto the ball mounds of the feet, lifting the heels. Keep that height in the heels. As you bring the arms back down, start to melt the thoracic spine, lumbar spine, so upper, middle, lower back, then the tailbone. Finally, the heels release to the mat. We'll do that twice more. Big breath in, stretch the arms up, lift the hips. You're pausing here for a breath in, press down through the ball mounds of the feet, lift the heels. And then on your exhale, you slowly release the arms, upper back, middle back, lower back. And then finally, last thing to relax are the heels. Let's take that one more time all the way through. Deep breath in. Lift the heels, keep that. Deep breath out, slow release. Starting to wake up the glutes, the thighs, the lower half of the body. Check out how the shoulders are feeling. And then once more, let's hug the knees into the chest. This time we can rock the length of the mat. You do this a few times, you make it big, you make it small. It's really your own, so you can come onto the tips of the tailbone. You can roll all the way back to like a halasana or plow pose if that feels okay on the spine. Next time you come forward, we'll cross at the ankles and we'll come into tabletop. If you need to walk back to the center of your mat, go ahead. Planting your hands here. Plant your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Let's take a few rounds of cat and cow. So we're really going to concentrate on rotating the thoracic spine, which is the least flexible part of the spine. It has about 30-degree rotation, whereas the lumbar spine has about 70%. That's quite a big difference in the thoracic region. Couple more rounds, cat and cow, deep breath in, deep breath out. Let's get a sense of how your spine feels. Come back to neutral spine, extend your left leg behind you, flex your left toes. And instead of really thinking about lifting the left leg high, roll that left hip down so it's facing the floor. And then extend your right arm forward. So it doesn't matter how high that left leg is, but your hips, try to keep those in line. You're balancing on your left palm and your right knee. Really find that extension here. Big breath in through right fingertips, left heel. On your exhale, press the floor away, round in, right elbow to left knee, curl the chin into the chest. Inhale, find that extension. Exhale, round in, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round in. One more time, big breath in, extend, right arm, left leg. And then exhale, right palm plants, left knee plants. And then extend your right arm straight out to the right side. Then start to tuck your right arm underneath your left armpit. You're reaching that right arm all the way across beyond the left side of your mat. Set your right shoulder down. And then you can extend your left arm forward. You can come onto the fingertips if you like. You can also bring that left palm underneath the left elbow, give a little pressure there. This right away is the sensation of the rotation of thoracic spine, your upper back. Notice how that feels. We'll build on this incrementally. Here is your foundation. 2 deep breaths here. If you have your left arm extended forward, bring it back, plant the palm underneath the elbow, free the right arm, and rotate the right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in. Breath out, replant the right palm. Second side, right leg extends back, flex the toes so they're pointing the floor. Keep that right hip in line with the left hip. Just start to feel the muscles of that right leg do some work. Doesn't matter how high the leg lifts. Inhale, extend the left arm straight out of the shoulder towards the top of your mat. Biceps framing the ear. Find that nice long length. Deep breath in. On your breath out, press the floor away. Left elbow to right knee, chin to chest. So keep this nice and slow and methodical. The slower it is, actually, the more muscle fiber you use. Deep breath in to extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. As you pull the elbow to the knee, feel your navel hugging up into the spine. Use some core muscle. One more time, extend the arms and leg. And then plant that left hand and relax the right knee. And just take this left arm straight out to the left side. Let it be parallel. On your exhale, tuck it all the way underneath. You're reaching left arm all the way across towards the right side of the mat and beyond. Relax your left shoulder, left side of the head. You can extend your right arm forward. Or sometimes it feels nice to get a little bit more rotation by planting that right palm underneath the right elbow. 2 deep breaths here. Notice if the side feels different, how and where. Press down through your right palm, start to free that left arm. Take it slow as you unwind. And then big breath in, extend that left arm all the way towards the ceiling. Exhale, relax your left hand. We'll take a brief visit to puppy pose, walking the hands forward. Keep your hips stacking over your knees. Hands walk forward, 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 but stay engaged with the hands as you relax the chest and the forehead. Maybe even the chin comes down. Okay, so we're simulating the spine, what happens in the spine in downward facing dog. We're active through the hands, pressing down through the palms, wrists lift, forearms lift, elbows engaged, triceps strong. And we're letting the chest, the head, the neck, the throat move towards the floor. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Start to lift up through the shoulders, walk the hands back. Set up for first downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, hands outer shoulder width distance apart. So you feel a nice spreading across the upper back and across the collarbone. Fingers are wide, 10 fingertips are engaged. Curl your toes under and lift your hips up. And then just take a few moments here to adjust, bend your knees, relax your head. Find a little movement if it feels good. I like to kind of bounce my shoulders back and forth. Check back in with a breath. Notice how you feel. The purpose of our downward facing dog, we're warming the shoulder girdle. We're lengthening the back body, opening the spine, relaxing the head. The heels relax heavy towards the mat. They do not have to touch. Couple more deep breaths in your first down dog. Whether you're still or you're pedaling out your knees or you're kind of bouncing your shoulders back and forth, it doesn't matter. Now we'll make a wide-legged downward facing dog. So your feet will walk to the outer edges of your mat and we'll shorten up that stance a little bit. Hands walk back towards your feet just a few inches. And then I'd like you to center your left palm on your mat. As you reach your right hand underneath your left armpit, you're going to bind right hand to outer left leg. That could be the calf, it can be the ankle, anywhere that feels accessible. Once you've got that bind, bend the right elbow, start to look underneath the left armpit. Keep relaxing your head, keep breathing. Second, assessment of thoracic rotation. Notice where you feel this in the back ribs. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Unwind it, release, plant your palms. Keep your feet where they are, but just take your hands back to that normalized downward facing dog. So shoulder width distance apart with the hands, relax your head. Breathe in. Breathe out. Second side, we'll center the right palm on the mat. You're taking your left hand, sweep it underneath towards the outer right leg. Maybe it's the calf, maybe it's the ankle. Once you've got that bind, you'll start to bend the left elbow. Look under the right armpit. Keep pressing the floor away with the right hand, strong through the right arm. Keep pressing down through both feet. Feel the hips lift. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. Unwind that. Let's come back to a normalized downward facing dog. Walk your feet in line with your hips. Hands outer shoulder width distance apart. Relax your head. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, shift forward. Let's find high plank. And pause in your high plank for a moment. Lengthen out. So I'm going to walk my feet back a little bit. My wrists are just slightly forward of my shoulders, so it takes off a little bit of the load of the glenohumeral joint. So we're optimally bearing weight for the shoulder girdle by bringing the wrist forward of the shoulders. And it might make your thighs work a little bit more, the belly work a little bit more, and that's a good thing. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Feel the inner thighs squeeze together. Feel the quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes turn on. Lengthen out through the crown of your head. Now shift forward onto your toes. Come all the way down to the belly, knees first. We're coming all the way down to the belly and we're setting up for Sphinx. So walking the elbows forward. Elbows stacked underneath the wrist, or they move forward of the wrist. I'm sorry, shoulders. So elbows move forward of the shoulders, or they're stacked underneath the shoulders. And your wrists are just beyond the elbows as usual. All right, so from here, let's take a deep breath in, press down through the feet, engage the knees away, and lift up through the heart. You're just pressing down through your hands, lifting up through the heart. Your neck is neutral, so don't worry about how far the chin lifts. Just breathe in here. Breathe out. Now let that chin draw down into the chest. Feel the navel hug up into the spine. Maybe a slight bit of the pelvis lift. And release that. We're going to come into forearm plank, curling your toes under. Lift the hips, lift the thighs, and settle into forearm plank. So stay engaged through your hands. Palms are spread wide, fingertips are active, elbows are pressing down, heels are moving back, hips are as low as the shoulders, crown of the head's moving forward. Breathe in. Breathe out. Slowly lower back down. As you inhale, lift the heart for Sphinx. And as you exhale, we're coming back into forearm plank. I'm going to give you an option to move into a supported side plank on the elbow. So hips lift again, forearm plank. Right hand moves over to the left hand just a little. Roll to the outer edge of the right foot. Take your left foot behind your right leg. So you're on the ball mountain of the left foot. Inhale, lift that left arm. So supported side plank on the forearm of the right hand. This is a great option if your wrists are ever bothering you in Vashisthasana. Deep breath in. Breath out, come back through forearm plank, nice and slow, unwind. Hips lower. Inhale for Sphinx. Okay, so second side first, your setup is to come into forearm plank. Once you're in forearm plank, left hand moves towards the right hand. Then you're rolling to the outer edge of your left foot as your right foot comes behind you. You're pressing down through the ball mount of the right foot, the outer edge of the left foot, and the base of the forearm elbow of the left hand is there while you stretch the right arm towards the ceiling. So lift up and out of the shoulder girdle, lift up and out of the waist, deep breath in. And then on your breath out, forearm plank, unwind. Back to Sphinx. Let the belly draw down. Inhale, let the heart lift. Walk the palms back underneath the shoulders. Curl the chin into the chest. Let the forehead rest for a moment. Okay, from here, curl the toes under. Keep your elbows close. Can you press straight up to high plank? Firm the thighs, squeeze them together. Now lift the hips, downward facing dog. Settle into down dog. Adjust your hands, adjust your feet. Relax your head. Relax your head. Let's take 3 deep breaths. And on your next inhale, pressing down through the palms of your hands, your right leg lifts up towards the ceiling. Rise onto the ball round of the left foot. You're lifting your left heel. Keep that height. As you exhale, hug your right knee into your chest. Plant your right foot in between your hands. Your choice here. You can leave that left knee active or you can bring it down to the mat. We're taking a simple twist. Left palm underneath left shoulder, right arm rotates up towards the ceiling. So start to drop a little bit into the hips as well as find that thoracic rotation, but be wary of dumping all of your weight into that left shoulder, but rather lift up and out of the shoulder socket by pressing down into the floor. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Right hand comes back down. If your left knee is on the floor, curl the toes under, lift the knee. Let's take a quarter turn to the left. You're coming into a wide-legged forward fold at the center of your mat. So take a peek at your feet. See that they're parallel. Just start off by bringing your palms underneath your shoulders. A nice long spine. Gazes down at the floor. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now center your right palm under your face. Take your left hand to the small of your back. Keep pressing down through all 3 points of contact that are on the floor. Rotate just the left shoulder towards the ceiling. So you feel that thoracic rotation. If you like, add on by reaching the left arm towards the ceiling. Keep pressing down through both feet. Keep pressing down through the right palm. As you inhale and you lift up and out of the shoulders, maybe you add the gaze. Breathe in. Breathe out, unwind it. Center your hands under your shoulders. Deep breath in here. And as you exhale, walk your hands back between your feet. Start to bring the crown of the head towards the floor. Bend your elbows like little chaturanga arms, elbows on top of the wrist. You can keep your knees straight or bend them a little. It's up to you, and just notice how the body feels. If there's a sharp shooting pain or a lot of sensation around the knee joint, I highly recommend bending the knees. Maybe you're resting your head on the floor. Maybe it's floating above the floor. It doesn't matter. Just notice where you are. 2 deep breaths here. We'll come back to this shape a little bit later. I'll give you the option to invert in a tripod headstand if that's in your practice, but for now we'll move on. So hands walk back underneath the shoulders, lengthen out through the spine. And then on your exhale, we're taking a second quarter turn to the back of your mat towards the left. You're coming into a low lunge briefly. And we're setting up here for Parivrtta Trikonasana, twisted triangle. So the feet are key. How you place the feet matter. What I suggest is taking the right foot up a little bit and out wide to the side. Plant the sole of the foot. And then take that left foot out just a little bit wider so you have a wider, shorter stance with your feet. Straighten out through both legs. Right fingertips underneath the right shoulder, press down there. Left hand to the small of the back, just like you did before. Then first, rotate left shoulder towards the ceiling. Now second, if you like to add on the arm, left arm reaches up. Keep pressing down through your feet. Keep straightening out through the legs. Activate the quads. Keep pressing down through your right fingertips and lifting up and out of the left shoulder. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Left hand comes down. Come back to your low lunge. Recenter your left foot in between your hands. Extend your right foot back behind you. Pause here. Low lunge. We'll set up for another supported Vashisthasana, this time on the palm of the hand. So the right palm is your base. The outer edge of the right foot spins to the side of the mat. The left foot comes to the center of the mat. And you just pause there for a moment in the supported side plank as the left arm lifts. Now, if you want full Vashisthasana, left leg can move back, stack on top of the right, lifting up and out of the waist, out of the shoulders, breathing in, breathing out. Left hand comes down, high plank. Here you have a vinyasa flow of your choosing, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. If you're feeling a little bit less energetic this morning, feel free to take child's pose or simply hold in downward facing dog. Take your time moving through your flow if that's where you're going. If you're resting in child's pose, another breath cycle, and then we'll meet in downward facing dog. In our downward facing dog, let's take 3 breaths together. So inhale through the nose, nice and deep inhale. Open your mouth, exhale the air out. Deep breath in. This time stick out your tongue, lion's breath. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, flutter the lips, horse breaths. Might feel kind of silly, but that's really good for the central nervous system, that horse breath. We have a little bit more work on the right side, so we're sticking with the right side here, still facing the back of the mat. Take a deep breath in, right leg lifts. Add that height, rising the left heel. So you're on the ball mound of the left foot, left heel is high. Keep that height. Deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to shift forward. Take the right knee wide towards the right elbow. Pause there for a moment. Now see if you can step the right foot outside of the right hand. Wide-legged lunge. Good. Now start to set that left knee down. If you have a blanket and you want to pad that left knee, go for it. Grab a blanket, slide it underneath the left knee. Just take a few moments here to wobble here side to side. So right to left, shift the hips. Here's what I'd like you to think about as we head into lizard and maybe beyond. The alignment of the right foot matters. Right toes pointing straight forward, right ankle underneath the right knee. Can you keep that alignment regardless of how far you go? Okay, so maybe you're just staying up here on the hands, you're relaxing the hips. Maybe you're walking down to the forearms, resting a little bit lower. But notice what happens to the ankle. Does it want to move out to the side? Can you keep the sole of the foot planted? If you want to turn this into a twist and add a bind, your left hand underneath the left shoulder, left heel kicks to the left glute, sweeping the right hand back. Maybe you're binding right hand to left ankle. Still planting through that right foot. Deep breath in and out through the nose. Wherever you are, 2 more breath cycles. If you have a bind, slowly release it. 2 palms inside of the right foot. Lift that left knee up. If you're using a blanket, you can slide it off to the side. We're going to step up into a Malasana squat. Left foot comes wide outside of the left hand. And then you can kind of ease your way into this. So what I like to do in Malasana is start out in more like a camper's pose. I just check out the alignment of my toes. They're turning out. My heels are turning in. I wobble side to side. I let my hips sink. I notice how my heels are feeling. Here's one little trick that I love. If my hips are feeling particularly tight, I'll bring a blanket, a folded blanket underneath my heels, and then that allows me to relax my hips a little bit more. Once you're in your Malasana squat, bring your hands together at your heart. Pause here, breathe in. Breathe out. Good. So find a sense of your feet rooting down and a sense of your spine growing tall. 2 deep breaths. Now from here, from this nice tall spine, from these feet that are rooted solidly into your mat, can you stand all the way up out of your squat with a nice tall spine? Press down into the heels, stretch the arms towards the ceiling. Let the arms come wide and down alongside the body. If you have your heels on a blanket, step off of that, bring the feet underneath the hips. And we'll just stand tall here in Tadasana. Relax the arms, let the palms face forward. Close your eyes. Feel your tailbone releasing down towards the backs of your knees. Feel your frontal hip points lifting towards the front of your ribs. Feel your shoulders soften. Feel your spine grow tall. Blinking the eyes open, stretch the arms out wide, reach them back up towards the ceiling. We'll head right back into Malasana squat. Hands come together at the heart. If you'd like, you can step back onto the heels of the blanket, turning the toes out, knees wide. Sink your hips. Maybe you're picking up where you left off in your squat. Deep breath in here. Deep breath out. Fingertips come down, hips lift. Let's meet in Uttanasana. So walk those feet underneath the hips. If you were using the blanket, set it off to the side. Relax the crown of the head down towards the floor. Take a few moments in Uttanasana. Walk the fingertips up the shins. Find a halfway lift. Lengthen out through the spine. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms, step your right foot back, pause, low lunge. Step your left foot back, downward facing dog. Relax your head, relax your head, relax your head. And we'll move on to the second side of our flow. Rooting through all 10 fingertips, the palms of your hands are solid. Your shoulder girdle is strong. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. Stretch it towards the ceiling. Rise onto the ball mound of your right foot. Lift that right heel high. Keep the height. As you exhale, shift forward. Pull that left knee right into the chest. And then plant the left foot between the hands. Your choice here, whether you leave your right knee lifted or lower it down. Right palms planted underneath the shoulder. Left arm starts to rotate up towards the ceiling. Notice the sensation in the spine and the hips. You drop those hips down. Get a sense of rotation and depth. Left hand comes back down. If your right knee was on the mat, lift it up. We're taking a quarter turn back to the right. We'll come into our wide-legged forward fold. So first take a peek at the alignment of the feet. See that they're parallel. They can be slightly pigeon-toed. Palms plant underneath the shoulders. Find a nice long spine. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Plant your left palm right underneath the face. Right hand comes to the base of the spine. Start to feel that right shoulder rotate towards the ceiling, but stay aware of the feet and the left hand pressing down. These are your bases. Inhale, you can start to extend the right arm towards the ceiling. Don't dump into the left shoulder. Press the floor away. Lift up and out of the shoulder girdles as you stack right on top of left. Deep breath in. Maybe you look up. And as you're ready, release. Right hand comes back down. Now we'll walk our hands back in between our feet. Wide-legged forward fold. Okay, and if you have tripod headstand in your practice and you feel comfortable where you are, I invite you to head there for a few breath cycles. We'll take about 5 total breath cycles, and maybe it's 3 breath cycles with the feet up in the air. 1 or 2 breath cycles to get there, in and out. If you are in your tripod headstand, be sure your wrists are underneath your elbows. The crown of the head is placed firmly on the floor. Your neck is nice and long. You're pressing the floor away and you're growing up and out of the shoulders. The same thing applies if you're in your wide-legged forward fold. You're still pressing down through your feet. You're pressing down through the hands. You're lifting up and out of the waist. Wherever you are, 2 more deep breaths. If you're in your headstand, please slowly come out. Once the feet are safely back on the ground, let's all walk our hands back underneath the shoulders. Find the length through the spine. Find a breath in here. Your breath out, you're taking another quarter turn to the top of your mat, the right side of your mat. You're going to turn so you're facing the top of your mat. Now we'll set up for that Parivrtta Trikonasana, feet matter. Left foot steps forward and out wide. Right foot moves out a little bit wider. So you have a wider, shorter stance. Both feet are planted. Both legs are straight. Left hand, fingertips underneath the left shoulder. Right hand to the small of the back. This is your Parivrtta Trikonasana, your twisted triangle right here. If you want to take it another step further, you'll start to roll the right shoulder towards the ceiling. And then maybe you extend the right arm. Thinking about everything that's connected with the floor, there's a rebound effect. So you're pressing down, but you're rebounding all of that energy up, lifting up and out of your joints. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Unwind it. Good. Recenter right foot in between the hands. Bring that left foot back long. You're coming into your low lunge, framing your right foot out, top of your mat. We'll set up for that supported to full side plank. Left palm is your base. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot. As you do, bring the sole of the right foot down the middle of the mat. Right arm lifts. Maybe you stay here and you work supported side plank. Or maybe you stack that right foot on top of left. Whatever is in contact with the ground, press down and lift up from there. Feel the energy lifting up and out of the ground. Find your breath, inhale. And on your exhale, high plank. Moving through a vinyasa flow of your choice, maybe chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Maybe you prefer a rest. Resting can be child's pose, can be down dog. Just take what you need. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. If you're in your child's pose, we'll meet in downward facing dog over the next breath cycle or two. And in our downward facing dog, we'll take those 3 breath cycles. Strong inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale the air out. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, tongue out, lion's breath. Last exhalation is horse breath, fluttering the lips, breathing in. Horse breath. Relax your head, relax your head. All right, so still on that left side, we're inhaling, left leg sweeps up and back. Rising onto the ball mound of the right foot, lift the right heel. Keep that height. As you exhale, you're shifting forward. You're pulling the left knee wide towards the left tricep. Pause there for a moment. Then take your left foot outside of your left hand. It's a wide-legged lunge. You can bring your right knee down to the mat. You can pat it if you desire. And you're just first starting off by checking out the alignment of the left foot. Toes are pointing straight forward. Ankle stacked underneath knee. Can you seal the sole of the left foot down without letting it roll right to left, even as you wobble your hips side to side? So feel free to take this a little bit further. There's a lot of different directions you can take this shape. You can walk down to the forearms just like we did on the other side. And you can also turn this into a bind and twist if you want. You can kick that right heel towards the right glute. Press into your right hand, sweep that left hand back and bind. Left hand to right ankle. So if you're taking that bind, be sure you're rolling above the knee joint. You're not right on the patella, but rather the insertion of the quadricep into the knee joint itself. You're on the muscle. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. If you're in your bind or on your forearms, we're going to come back to our hands. Take your time getting there. Lift that right knee if it was lowered. We'll travel into Malasana at the very top of our mat. Right foot steps wide. Good, and toes turn out. And I always love this little trick of the blanket underneath my heels. It's totally optional. You can check it out if you want. So as the hips lower, start to work the elbows to the inner thighs or the inner knees. Bring the hands to the heart. Feel that nice tall spine and the rootedness of the feet. Can you keep all of that? We'll add on a little twist here. We'll start with the left fingertips. They're going to reach. So you're keeping your tricep inside of the left thigh, but reaching the fingertips outside of the left foot. Press down there. Really stay grounded, and then as you inhale, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Now, if you have that kind of rotation with the shoulder girdle and the thoracic spine, you can sweep your right forearm behind the low back. You can bind your left hand to your right hand. If that's what you're taking, can you roll the right shoulder down and back? Maybe you look up at the ceiling, as long as that feels okay on the neck. But don't compromise the breath or any sharp shooting pain. You can simply stay with one of those former shapes, maybe right arm reaching high. So unwind it if you have the bind, come back through center, pause for just a moment, hands at the heart, press down through the feet. Breathe in and out. Second side, you're keeping the right tricep engaged with the inner right knee, and the right fingertips reach beyond the right foot, maybe even beyond the yoga mat. Keep that bind and keep that right knee moving wide as you inhale and stretch the left arm towards the ceiling. You can feel free to stay here with just the lift of the arm, or if you want to try that bind and wrap, Forearm comes behind the low back. Right arm snakes around. Maybe you catch your fingers. Now, if you've got this bind, see if you can roll that left shoulder open. Roll the left side of the chest towards the ceiling. Maybe you look up. Deep breath in. Notice your breath. Deep breath out. Releasing from the bind if you have it. And coming back through Malasana squat. Hands at the heart. Grow tall through the spine. Press down through the feet. All 4 points of the feet are engaged. Can you stand straight up out of your Malasana squat from here? Nice tall spine. Pressing into the heels. Arms reach up. And then on your exhale, bring the feet to parallel Tadasana, top of the mat. Palms face forward. Close the eyes. Relax the shoulders. Feel the tailbone release down. Feel the ears shift over the shoulders. Feel the spine grow tall. Good. So bring the inner edges of your feet together in your Tadasana. Blink the eyes open here. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see where we're going next. So inner edges of the feet are touching. Big toenails are touching. You're going to take your arms wide out to the sides like you were in a Vashisthasana. Basically, this is Vashisthasana, but you're standing on your feet. Lift your toes. Feel a little bit of a wobble. You might feel a little bit of a wobble here. Okay, so relax your toes now, relax your arms. Bend your knees, come to Utkatasana. Let's let it be an easy Utkatasana. Arms stretch forward, palms face the ceiling. Feel that scapula spreading away from the spine. Now you're going to shift your weight into your right foot, lift your left knee into your chest, and grab the inner right knee with your right hand. Your left hand with your left knee. Take your right hand to your right glute and feel that glute engaged. Now pull your left knee out to the side. Okay, so keep the engagement of the glute. Extend your right arm. Take a deep breath here. Deep breath out. And then come back through Utkatasana. We'll do the second side. Arms stretch forward, bend the knees, sink the hips. Breathe in. Breathe out. Press down into your feet. You're going to straighten out, shifting the weight into the left leg as the right knee comes up towards the chest. The right hand snakes around the right knee joint. Left hand to the glute. Just feel the glute engage. So hand to muscle oftentimes gives a signal neurologically that the muscle needs to do something. Start to pull that right knee out wide to the side. Extend your left arm. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay, so we're doing this standing because we're going to do it in side plank. I'll give you the option to move here in side plank. Come back through center. Sink the hips, bend the knees. Utkatasana. Breathe in. Breathe out. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana. Top of the mat, relax the head. Step your left foot back, pause in your low lunge. Step your right foot back, pause. Lift the hips, down dog. Good. Inhale, shift forward. Find high plank. We'll do this on the right side first. I want you to step your right palm slightly forward, one handprint forward. So your wrist is beyond your shoulder. Now you're rolling to the outer edge of your right foot. Okay, and just like you've done before, step your left foot forward so it's at the center of your mat. Briefly, we'll pass through the supported side plank, left arm lifts. All right, so get your bearing here. Get your right hand rooted, your left or your right outer leg pressing down, and then move that left foot back on top of your right foot. So you're in full Vashisthasana. Now, reach down Grab a hold of that left knee, pull it towards the ceiling. Start to feel yourself shake a little bit. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Come back through center, high plank. Vinyasa flow if you like. Do you need a little break? Know that child's pose is there. Two more breaths in your downward facing dog. So if you're in child's pose, come back up. Let's take 2 deep breaths together. Shift forward, lengthen out, high plank, second side. Same thing you just did, step by step. This is a methodical process. Left hand moves forward, one handprint. Your wrist is beyond your shoulder. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot, and just for a moment, bring your right foot up towards towards the middle of your mat. So you have 3 points of contact, right foot, left hand, outer edge of the left foot. Right arm reaches up. Now take that right leg back, stack it on top. You can stay here, or maybe you play with reaching the right hand down, grab the inner right knee, rotate it up towards the ceiling. And you really have to feel your left glute engage. Feel that. Deep breath in. And then exhale, release. Let's just move back to downward facing dog. If you really want a vinyasa flow, fine, take it. But downward facing dog is where I will be when you're ready. 2 deep breaths. Last little bit of work here. We're going to come to the top of our mat. So you're welcome to step, hop, float to the top of your mat. When you get to the top of your mat, inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out through the spine, squeeze the shoulders together. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana, relax your head. Bend your knees, sink your hips, chair, Utkatasana, arms stretched forward. And again, I'll turn and face you. We're going to add on one more step. It's optional, but I'll step you through it. Okay, so shifting the weight into the left leg, lengthen out, stand up on the left leg, pull that right knee into the chest. Just like you did before, left hand to left glute, right knee moves out to the right side. And then extend your left arm. Good. Now you can stay here, just like we did Vashisthasana, or you can take your 2 peace fingers of your right hand, hook your right big toe. And anywhere along this pathway, you can play with lengthening out through the leg. Okay? So it doesn't have to be all the way fully extended. You could just play with the bind. You could play with here growing tall through the spine, or maybe you bend it out, straighten it out a little. When you're ready, release, Utkatasana. Bend your knees, sink the hips, extend the arms forward. Just let it be an easy Utkatasana. You're going to start to transfer the weight into your right foot. Lengthen out, hug that left knee into the chest. Remember, the engagement of the standing leg glute is really important. So bring your right hand to your right glute. Pull that left knee out to the side. Good. Now extend your right arm. Now your 2 peace fingers of your left hand can reach down and hook the big toe. If you like, it's optional. You might fall out, you might feel wobbly, that's all part of the process. Play with the extension as you like. Millimeter, an inch, a foot, full extension, what is available. Use your breath. Good. Now let's come back through center Utkatasana one last time. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Reach through the arms. Deep breath in. Breath out, fold. Uttanasana, relax your head. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, if you like, bend your knees, plant your palms. You can step right back, float through chaturanga, maybe a vinyasa flow. You could always just step right back into downward facing dog. I'm giving you these options as this is a power vinyasa class, but remember the options are optional and your body changes daily. So it would behoove you to pay attention to your sense of energy and what is appropriate today. Let's meet in downward facing dog if you're not already there. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Shifting forward into high plank. Walk that right hand, one handprint forward. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Same step by step. Not skipping any steps. We're building this foundation from the ground up. Left foot steps forward towards the left hand. Right arm extends. Left arm extends. Good gracious, right and left today. Okay, so now come into full Vashisthasana. Left leg on top of right leg. You can stay here. You can reach down with the left hand, open the left knee out. Or finally, if you want to bind 2-piece fingers to big toe and extend the left leg towards the sky. Notice if the hips are dipping, can you lift up and out of the waist? Otherwise, when you're ready, come back through. Vinyasa flow here or rest. I'm going to choose to take child's pose. If you're moving through your vinyasa flow, notice the rhythm and the cadence of your breath. If you're resting, the same thing. Over the next 2 breath cycles, we'll arrive in downward facing dog together. And we'll round out that second side. Shift forward into high plank. Step that left hand forward. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot. Step your right foot up, halfway up the mat. You have 3 points of contact as you lift your right arm, supported Vashisthasana. Second step, full Vashisthasana. Third step, bring the knee up towards the ceiling. Squeeze that left glute. Maybe you stay there, and maybe you take your 2-piece fingers, hook your big toe, extend the right leg. I'm going to fall out. As it happens, balance is tricky on your side. So anywhere along the way that you are, find your breath. And when you're ready, slowly release, roll out. Let's come back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale, tongue out. Last time, horse breath. Flutter the lips. Okay, and let's come down to the knees. We'll come into child's pose. Take a few moments here. In your child's pose, you can take this a couple of different ways. Your knees can be wide and arms can be extended forward. Be sure that your forehead's able to rest on the mat or something tangible. You can use your hands underneath the back of your head. You could also take the knees together, arms down alongside the body. Taking some time to rest and recalibrate. Now walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Lift up, cross your ankles. Roll the sit bones back over the feet. Come to the center of your mat. We're going to work through a few back bend series because we've opened our thoracic spine. Now is a really good time to check out what's happening in the upper back. All right, so first, again, at the beginning of class, think back to those dynamic bridge shapes. We'll start off with a static bridge, planting the feet hip-width distance apart. Press down there, inhale, lift your hips up. With your arms, you could walk your shoulders underneath your low back. You can interlace your fingers to the webbing. See that the arms can get straight. Press down through the pinky edges of the hands. Pressing down through your feet, lift your hips. Get a sense of your knees pointing straight forward. So you're really rolling to the big toe mound of each foot. Feel your inner thighs squeezed. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Start to slowly release that. And bring the tailbone back down. It'll give you the option to do a second round of your active bridge. You could also do a restorative bridge. You can slide something underneath a low back, like a block or a hard back book, and rest your sacrum there. Or if you're feeling ready for this, because we did really prep the body with a lot of thoracic opening, Urdhva Dhanurasana. So in Urdhva Dhanurasana, fingers and hands plant above the shoulders, and the fingertips, they point towards the shoulders or maybe slightly out to the side. You could play with the hand position here. I like to take a little bit wider stance in my Urdhva Dhanurasana with my hands. So my fingertips are slightly rotated out to the sides of my mat, and they're a little bit farther away from my shoulders. I have a broader upper back, so this works for me. You might try it today and see what happens with you. The first step here is to press down through the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet. Start to lift up through the hips, and can you just come to the top of the head? So your elbows are still bent. From there, it takes a tremendous amount of shoulder strength to press your way up to Urdhva Dhanurasana. Okay, so maybe you're just working the strength on the crown of your head, working the strength in the shoulders, or if you've got the arms straight, then you lift the heels and start to rock the body forward. Rock the body forward, chest moving between the biceps on the heels. Or the heels are lifted, rather. Find your breath. When you're ready to come out, set the heels down. This time you're curling the chin into your chest. You're setting on the back of the head first, and then the rest of the body follows. Just take a moment here. Walk the feet wide. Let the knees knock in towards one another. Bring your hands facing down on your belly. Breathe in and out. Let that rest. Let it go. Two more deep breaths. And we'll do a little bit of hip opening work. We started to do that throughout our class, the strengthening and lengthening simultaneously. Now we'll work more with the fascia, the soft tissue that surrounds the joints and the muscles, to see if we can find a little bit more flexibility there. So you're going to roll up to a seat. You could come off to a side fetal position and press your way up, or you can just roll right up. One of my favorite props for this seated work, again, is my blanket. So I slightly elevate my sit bones on a folded blanket. This provides an anterior tilt to the pelvis. An anterior tilt means the pelvis starts to tilt forward. This allows your spine to grow tall in its natural position. Okay, bring the soles of the feet together. Your knees are out wide to the sides. Doesn't matter how close your heels are to your hips. That's not really the goal here today. What we're looking for is the fold and the release of the hip joint itself and the relaxation of the knees. So just grab your inner ankles, lengthen out through the arms. Inhale, grow tall. And on your exhale, you can start to forward fold any amount. For my really bendy friends, you can take it a little step further. So the hands, the palms face upward and they scoop underneath the ankles. So I'm binding my hands underneath the ankles, scooping around the tops of the ankles. Now my forearms are resting on the mat. This provides a little bit of a spreading across the scapula. We've done a lot of work for the upper back, so this might feel really good. Chin can bow into the chest, and you settle in here. We'll take a little bit more time in this shape to allow that opening. We'll be here for just about a minute. And your goal here is to just breathe. Let it be soft. Let your jaw relax. Let your shoulders soften. Can you tune into that ujjayi breath, the inhale, exhale through the nose, that rush at the back of the throat. And slowly start to unwind out of this. If you have the hands bound underneath the ankles, be gentle as you release. Bring your palms behind your back and press down into the outer edges of your feet. Let your knees widen a little bit more as you lift your chest. You can take your head back if that feels good, or you can let the chin rest towards the chest. Deep breath in here, deep breath out. It will take this a little bit deeper, and I want you to be mindful of your knee joints and your hip joints. So first, the right foot's going to come parallel to the top edge of your mat. Pay attention here to the height of the knee, the ankle, and the hip. They should all be in relatively the same plane of alignment. Okay, in this left leg, pick it up, and you're just going to rock it like a baby. So my right hand's binding with my left foot, my left hand's to my left knee. I'm just rocking it side to side. If you're really flexy, you can take the sole of the foot into the right elbow and continue to rock. If you have that closer bind, can you stay tall through your spine? Now, we're going to stack this left leg on top of the right leg. So ankle of the left leg on top of the right knee, left knee on top of the right ankle. If there is a lot of space, like this left knee is really high, there's a lot of space there, just let it be loose like crisscross applesauce. You can take the left shin forward. Okay, so find that comfortable position for you. And then once again, we'll forward fold into this. You can walk down to your elbows. You can make a little shelf with your knuckles for your chin to rest on. You can stack your fist and fold all the way forward. Forehead can rest on the knuckles or the backs of the hands. Pay attention to how this feels in the glute and the spine. We'll take another just a minute here. Relax shoulders, relax the neck. Soften the jaw. Very slowly start to release and wind out of that fold. Grow tall. This time we'll plant the feet, knees up towards the ceiling, hands behind the hips, and take the knees side to side. Now we'll set up for our second side. So that left shin, outer calf, and ankle and knee come parallel to the top edge of your mat. And relatively, hip, knee, ankle are in the same plane of alignment. Pick up your right foot into your left hand to right knee, rock it side to side. And then you might want to pull it a little bit closer if it feels accessible. Fold the foot into the crease of the elbow. You can wrap the hands around and bind at the interlace of the fingertips. If you're taking the spine nice and close, can you stay tall through the spine? Keep growing tall through the spine. Good. So now we'll set that right ankle on top of the left knee. We'll check this out. We'll see if this works for us. If this right knee can relax towards that left ankle with not a whole lot of space between the two, maybe this is your shape. Otherwise, you're taking your right shin in front of your left shin and you're kind of just sitting crisscross applesauce, nice and loose. Okay, so find that shape for you. Be mindful of the knee joint. If it's sharp and shooting, then I suggest keeping it a little bit looser. And then you can walk your hands forward. Maybe you come down to your elbows if that feels accessible. You can rest your chin on your knuckles. You can stack your fists and rest your forehead, or you can flatten the palms. If that feels accessible, to bring the head all the way down to the floor, but don't force it. You have another minute here. Settle into your breath. Nice and slow. Feel the breath rushing at the back of the throat. Inhale coming in and out through the nose. Your next breath in, start to release and wind. Grow tall. Again, walk the hands behind you. Plant your feet. Sway your knees side to side. We'll take one last shape. We'll do this on our back. It will be a supine twist, much like we started class, but I'll give you a few options to intensify. So in your supine twist, one thing I always love is taking a blanket underneath the back of my head. This allows the shoulders to relax and it allows the neck to be a little bit more neutral, especially if you're really tight in the shoulders. Although we work through a whole thoracic spine series, so you're probably pretty loose, but still some padding underneath the back of the head can be quite nice. All right, so if you are using the blanket underneath the back of the head, be sure it's just underneath the back of the head. It's not underneath the shoulders. Start by bending your knees and planting your feet. Take your arms wide out to the sides. Pick your right foot up, flex the toes. Right foot's moving towards the ceiling. Now sweep that right thigh all the way across the left thigh, like you're sitting cross-legged in a chair. Now you can double bind here if you want Garudasana legs. That feels okay on the joints. Or you can just cross the legs themselves. We're going to press down into that left foot, pick the hips up, move them off to the right. Now you're taking this wrapped leg twist version off to your left. Your right hip is stacking on top. Now once you do this, notice the right shoulder. Can it stay relaxed? Is the back of the head heavy? Is the neck neutral? Can you breathe? You need to unwind. Go ahead and unwind the legs. You can simply keep this as a traditional supine twist, right leg stacking on top. Or if you want to take something else, you could extend the right leg out long. Find hand to foot. It's really up to you, but I'd like to give you that option to bind the legs. It does tend to be a bit deeper of a twist for most of us. Start to feel the breath moving all the way down the spine. Let the eyes close. Keep relaxing the shoulders. Keep the breath soft and fluid. Let's take 5 more deep belly breaths on this side. Last breath in. Unwind it on your exhale. Take your time. And try not to be a hurry to set up for your second side. We're actually pause. Adjust the hips in line with the shoulders. Pause here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Pressing down into your right foot, extend your left foot skyward. Flex the toes. Spread your arms wide out to the side. Cross your left leg all the way on top of your right thigh. Then you can take that double bind. You can wrap the left ankle underneath the right ankle, or you can just keep it a little bit looser. We're going to take the right foot off to the left, pick up the hips, move the hips off to the left as well. Then you're taking your knees off to the right. Now you might get into this side and feel like, oof, these eagle legs don't work for me on this side. It's pinching a nerve, or I have a sharp shooting pain. Just go ahead and wind it. Take some other variation of your twist. Can you relax your shoulders? Can you let the back of your head be heavy? Can you let the eyes close? Can you deepen into your breath? Let the whole body settle. Let's take 5 deep, long, slow belly breaths here. Last breath in. Unwind it on your exhale. Take your time, go slow. Once your hips are back in line with your shoulders, pause. Let the spine settle. Then hug your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. Come to happy baby. Reach for the inner or outer edges of your feet. Your knees pull wide towards your armpits, and your thighs are compressing both ascending and descending colon, which is really good for digestion. You can rock side to side. You can lengthen out one leg and then the other. You can be still if you like. Take as much time as you need in your happy baby. I think I might have just lost the use of my AirPods. I'm going to walk Shavasana by just sitting up here in front of you. So we're going to set up for Shavasana. There's a lot of different ways to come into Shavasana. You can do this by simply lying down on your back. You can still see I have my blanket behind me. I highly recommend patting the back of the head, especially if you're lying on a hard surface. If you find your low back a little twingy, take something underneath the backs of the knees. Maybe it's a pillow, maybe it's a rolled blanket, or maybe you swing your legs up and over a couch or a bed. So whatever Shavasana you're taking, let it be comfortable. Audio. Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. So, Shavasana. As you come to Shavasana, lie down on your back. Move your shoulders away from your ears. Slightly tilt your chin towards your chest. Let your arms be comfortable. You can stretch them out wide. Let the palms face up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale the air out. Feel your whole back body releasing into the floor. Feel a sense of the ground beneath you holding you. Sense of the sky above you, a lightness. A sense of the air around you, temperature and texture against your skin. As you're lying in your Shavasana today, can you come to a place of listening? I'd like to read a passage to you from Meditations from the Mat by Rolf Gates and Katrina Kennison. One of the two main spiritual underpinnings of our yoga practice are the practice itself, abhyasa, and vairagya, which is the non-attachment to the outcome. So whatever reason we come to our mat, can it be for the practice itself? Doesn't matter what happens on your mat. It doesn't matter if you achieve some sort of acrobatic feat. Why are you coming to your mat? Notice.
So this passage says, before we are truly ready to renounce something, and in renunciation, they're referring to vairagya, non attachment. Renunciation seems like a pointless sacrifice. Sure, we tell ourselves, I'd love to take a run every morning, but I really prefer to sleep in. But then there is a shift in perception. The furniture of our life gets moved, and we are forced to pay attention. A birth signals the death of an old way of life. More often than not, however, this shift in our perceptions is associated with some kind of loss, a literal death, or the death of some aspect of our false self. We may lose a coveted opportunity, or a door that we thought would always be open unexpectedly slams shut. Suddenly, we are seeing the world with new eyes. In the wake of this death, we are born to a new understanding. We are no longer at ease with the old dispensations. We look at our friends, our habits, our choices, and see them all in the new light as our old assumptions fall away. Now, the soil of our life is ready for vairagya. But it is important to remember that the nature of all lasting change is less radical. Long before we actually die to an old behavior, the way has been paved for a new one. By the time we actually arrive at the decision to let go of something, we shall be glad of another death. When we are ready to let go, we will do so with relief. We will experience renunciation or vairagya not as a death, but as a birth. All right, yogis, begin to deepen your breath. Begin to awaken through fingertips and toes. With a big breath in, stretch the arms up and overhead. Bring the legs together, point the toes. Breathing into the length of your body. On your exhale, bend your knees one at a time. Roll off to a side. Find fetal position. Take one full breath cycle there. Inhale. Exhale. Meet me in a comfortable seated position. I invite you to keep the eyes closed or a soft gaze. As you bring your hands, palms facing down on the thighs, feel your sits bones rooting and your spine growing tall. Take your left palm flat against your heart and your right palm, stack that on top. Bow your chin to your chest. Take a moment to honor your effort and your practice. To all of our teachers, past, present, future, and to the teacher within your own heart, such a pleasure to guide you through this practice. As I teach, I learn. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your grace. Namaste, everyone.